G'day, my name's Nick Goldschmidt. I'm the winemaker for Goldschmidt Vineyards, and one of the most important things about making wine as a winemaker is, of course, going out to the vineyard and making those picking decisions. And those picking decisions are based not only on sugar, which is obviously important because that converts to alcohol, but also the amount of tannin and flavor that we have in the berry itself. So if we think about how a vine ripens or a grape ripens, this is this period of time from flowering to harvest, and obviously we're looking for ideal weather conditions during this period. And at the beginning of flowering, when the berries start to form or set, they become pea-sized, we have an increase in acid, and as acid starts to decrease, this is what we call veraison. Veraison is when the berries change color, they become softer. For instance, they'll become more yellow if they're going to become a Chardonnay, or they'll become black if they're going to become a red grape. At this point, which we call veraison, we start to have an increase in sugar, and as sugar increases, it tends to level off as we get closer to harvest. Obviously, if we have rain, we get dilution. If we get heat, we get dehydration. If we dehydrate, the berries will shrivel and we'll have a concentrated sugar. If it rains, that sugar gets diluted. But when we actually go out and taste for flavor and tannin, it's a very different cycle than what we can do in terms of measuring for sugar. When we look for flavor and tannin, we actually have to put the berry in our mouth. So we'll put the berry in our mouth, we spit the pulp out, and we'll chew the skin. And the way we look for flavor is, it starts off relatively low, and flavor increases as we get closer to harvest. And tannins start off relatively high and decrease in terms of concentration as we get closer to harvest. And tannins move from green flavor to dusty, to dry, and then finally we get to ripe. And where these three things meet is where we want to make the harvest decision. And in Bordeaux, for instance, this is 100 days. But in California, we can go way longer than 100 days. We can get to 140 or even 150 days. So we can have a lot more flavor and a lot more tannin maturity when we harvest the grapes. The other thing that we also look for in terms of harvest is if we have a heavy crop, we'll tend to have a longer period of time for the tannins to ripen. And if we have a lower crop, we actually tend to wait for flavor to develop. But it's these three things that coming together is what makes great wine.